I've checked out of the hotel. So I know what the experience is like. I know everything I'm going to know about this hotel at this point in time. I have all the information I'm going to get. So you're asking me would I recommend the hotel? It's not a likelihood to recommend. It's would I or would I not? Because there's no other variables that are going to factor into the decision. Net Promoter Score is this question. It's a 0 through 10 scale, so there's 11 points on the scale. 0 is not at all likely, 10 is always very likely. And the question is, how likely are you to recommend? And it's used for a variety of businesses, not only in hospitality. Anyone who's watching or listening to this, I'm sure you've seen this. I'm sure you've gotten a survey from some business, if not many businesses and hotels and restaurants with this question, right? Yeah. So the only tweak here, or the only thing interesting here, is they have the scale flipped from how we usually see it. Usually you see it 0 on the left, not at all likely, and 10 being very likely all the way on the right. So it's going up, as we read numbers, the lower numbers are on the left, the higher numbers are on the right. So we've talked about this with other kinds of surveys where are they trying to get people to, the first thing they see, people read like left to right, so they want them to click the thing that they first read. So they put the best score on the left. Is that what this is about? Hopefully not. But can we talk about Net Promoter Score? I really want to talk about Net Promoter Score. Sure. I know that we have a video about Net Promoter Score it might be 6 years old now. It's years old. But the same idea is always here. And you and I have talked about this in many instances. I don't think we've actually talked about it on our podcast at all. But you know that I have a huge problem with this, right?
Yeah. So
how likely am I to recommend the hotel to a family member, friend, or colleague? What does that mean? Like, are they asking me, like, I want to break it down. Like, they have a scale, 0 to 10. 10 being very likely and 0 not at all likely. I've stayed at the hotel, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've checked out of the hotel. So I know what the experience is like. I'm not going to get any more information about whether it's a good hotel or not. I've already formed my opinion, right? I already know everything I'm going to know about it. So if you ask me, if somebody comes to me and says, would you recommend the hotel? Why is it a scale of likely or not? I mean, is it just, I'm going to just pick today, I'm feeling happy, and I'm going to say I'm very likely, and tomorrow, even though I have the exact same information, I'm in a bad mood, I'm not likely? I don't understand what it means. Like, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because we talked about it many times.
Right?
Yeah.
Our position on this is a yes or no question.
Right.
I know everything I'm going to know about this hotel at this point in time. I have everything I have all the information I'm going to get. So you're asking me, would I recommend the hotel? It's not a likelihood to recommend. It's would I or would I not? Because there's no other variables that are going to factor into the decision, unless if it's someone I don't like, maybe I won't recommend it to them, or I will if I had a bad experience. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's
still a yes or no. It's still you will or you won't.
Well, let's say I say 5. Like, why would somebody say 5? What does it depend on? If it's not yes or no, what does it depend on? Tell me what it could possibly depend on.
It depends on your personal experience.
But I've already had the experience, so what is it going to? I've already stayed at this hotel. I know I have all the information I'm going to get about the hotel. When you're asking me now, how likely am I to recommend the hotel? So why would I not answer yes or no? Why would I not have a yes or no at this point? What are the variables other than what I already know?
Well, the truth is there are some variables.
Like, explain it to me.
For example, if there's another hotel right in the immediate neighborhood. So if you had somebody going to the town you went to, you said Los Angeles, but if you had somebody going to the neighborhood where you stayed, and there's a fine hotel near yours and your experience wasn't the greatest, maybe you would recommend it to them if there wasn't an alternative option close by. Maybe it's worthwhile recommending it if they didn't have a choice or another alternative.
Okay, but that makes a lot of sense, but still, I know all those things right now while you're asking me this question. How likely am I to recommend the hotel? You're asking me now, so I should know all those. I have to factor all those things in right now when you're asking me that question. Isn't it still yes or no?
Right. No, I agree with you. I'm just playing devil's advocate a little bit.
I guess.
I mean, why else would you hesitate to say a yes or a no? Depends on other variables.
But there's not enough context within this question to frame it that way. Because yes, all right, so let's say there are other hotels in the area, to your point. If somebody asks me about other hotels in the area, do I know them? Based on that, would I recommend it? Or if somebody said, I have kids and I'm going there, I still believe it's a yes or no question.
Well, you just brought up a good point with children. It may be the kind of hotel that you would not suggest bringing kids. And that's a variable that could alter your decision. Would I recommend it to a family that's going with their children? No. Would I recommend it for a couple's getaway or date night or date trip? Maybe you would recommend it for different circumstances.
Fine. So, okay, let's use that. Given that the question's being asked to you right here, and you have a scale of 0 to 10, how are you going to figure out how many times people in those situations are going to ask you whether you're going to recommend it? You have to figure out that, I don't know, 80% of the time, so I'll get it, 8 out of 10 times, people without kids are going to ask me whether to recommend it.
I totally agree. It's a yes or no question.
Okay, fine.
You know that.
I do know that, but I still, for the life of me, don't understand how there's value in looking at the nuances of an 11-point scale here. And we won't go into it here, but the way Net Promoter Score is calculated is so beyond ridiculous.
Right.
We've talked
That'll
about
come a Net Promoter podcast.
We will do a separate one about that, and how they do the scoring gets ridiculous.